Okay, we really need to talk about what's happening in Japan, because there's a retirement crisis unfolding there that honestly shines a light on a huge, dangerous flaw in how we all think about saving money. It's a story about living longer than ever and the hidden trap in keeping your money where you think it's safest.
This. This is the number that's causing all the anxiety. 30 million yen. That's what, over 200,000 US dollars. Just look at it. It's a seriously intimidating figure, and for millions of people, it feels like a completely impossible mountain to climb for a secure retirement.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? As we're all living longer, which is great, that goalpost for being financially secure just keeps getting pushed further and further back. I mean, how do you make a pile of money like this last for maybe 20, 30, or who knows, even 40 years? So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll dig into where this impossible number even came from. Then, we're going to bust the great savings myth and talk about a wild idea called your unconscious investment. After that, we'll see how this is all leading to a real motivation crisis. And finally, we'll look at a uniquely Japanese approach for taking back a little bit of control. All right, let's dive right in. First, you've got to understand the sheer scale of this problem. This isn't just about a few people making bad choices. It's about the fundamental and kind of brutal math of living a long, modern life. So here's the most important detail, the one everyone misses. That 30 million yen, that's not the total amount you need to retire. No, it's the extra you need on top of your government pension just to have a pretty normal life. It's the shortfall, and it is a massive, massive gap. You see, this whole crisis is basically a perfect storm. It's being created by two massive forces pulling in totally opposite directions. On one hand, you've got this incredible longevity. I mean, it's an amazing human achievement, right? But it creates this huge financial demand. And on the other hand, a plunging birth rate means fewer and fewer young workers are paying into the system to support all these retirees. The entire structure is just buckling under the strain. So you might be thinking, okay, if the system is so creaky, why didn't people prepare for this? Well, this gets to the real cultural heart of the issue. A whole country basically walked into this trap because they were following a piece of financial wisdom that was once powerful, but is now incredibly outdated. This timeline really tells the whole story. For decades, saving money in the bank was the smart play. Back in the 70s, you got high interest rates, so your money actually grew pretty well just sitting there. Then came deflation in the 90s, where prices weren't really going up, so holding cash still felt super safe. But today, in our world of basically zero interest and rising inflation, that exact same strategy means your money is literally losing its value every single day. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's a complete 180-degree flip. What used to be a strategy for growth is now a strategy for a slow but guaranteed loss. The risk has gone from being super low to incredibly high, because the single biggest risk now is inflation silently eating away at your savings. The path to a secure future has turned into the path to a dwindling pile of cash. Okay, this next part, this is the big aha moment of this whole thing. It's a fundamental shift in thinking that completely flips the script on what it means to be safe with your money. And the numbers don't lie. Even with everything we just talked about, the vast majority of money in Japanese households is still just sitting in cash or basic bank accounts. Only a tiny slice is in stocks or other investments. That old savings mentality is still running the show. And this is the line you hear everywhere, right? Not just in Japan, but all over the world. Oh, investing is too risky, it's scary, I don't do it. People say it to feel cautious, to feel safe. But what if that whole idea is based on a giant misunderstanding?
And there it is. Boom! This is the single idea that changes the entire conversation. When you choose to just hold cash, you're not avoiding risk. You are making a huge concentrated bet. You are, without realizing it, investing 100% of your wealth into a single asset, your country's currency, and just hoping it doesn't lose value. That's not a safe choice. In today's world, that is an incredibly risky one. So, what does this actually do to people? What happens to a whole generation that grows up hearing about this impossible 30 million yen number, while also watching the value of their safe savings just melt away? Well, the economic problem turns into a deeply human, psychological one.
It's like younger generations are being forced down one of two very different and very destructive paths. You've got the first group who just fall into this pit of extreme pessimism. They look at the numbers and just throw their hands up, thinking, it's impossible, why even bother trying? Then you have the second group, who become obsessive savers, living these incredibly frugal lives, sacrificing all of today's joy out of pure terror for the future. Neither one is a healthy way to live.
And you know what? This feeling of hopelessness spills over into the workplace in a huge way. It's a major reason we're seeing this quiet quitting phenomenon. The thinking is pretty logical if you think about it. If my financial future is basically toast no matter how hard I work, then why on earth would I give my job anything more than the bare minimum? It's a rational reaction to a seemingly impossible problem.
So if giving up isn't the answer and obsessing isn't either, what's left? Well, the way forward might actually come from a Japanese cultural concept that's all about switching from emotional panic to rational, calm action.
The concept is called shukatsu. Now, it literally translates to end-of-life planning, but trust me, it's so much more than that sounds. Think of it as a proactive process of getting your affairs in order so you can face the future with clarity and a sense of control instead of just fear.
Yeah, so we're not just talking about writing a will here. Shukatsu is about the whole shebang. It's planning for your possible medical needs down the line. It's organizing your assets so they aren't a confusing mess for your family. It's about making choices now that will protect your dignity later. It's a direct, practical, and powerful antidote to that vague, overwhelming anxiety that the 30 million yen problem creates.
And this really brings the whole thing back home for all of us, no matter where we live. In Japan, the savings myth was their version of old wisdom. So, what's yours? What's that piece of financial advice that's been passed down in your family or your culture that might actually be putting your own future in danger right now?
Because at the end of the day, the lesson from Japan's crisis isn't just about Japan. It's that when we face these huge financial challenges, the answer isn't to give up or to panic. It's about taking a deep breath, setting aside those old, outdated myths, and instead calmly and rationally making a clear, proactive plan for the future we actually want.